Hey YouTube, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. Today we're going to look at the 4 ultimate builds for State of Decay 2. In the game there are 4 main skills, cardio, wits, fighting, and shooting, that when maxed out can be specialized into 16 unique skills that can cater to many different playstyles. I poured through the data, analyzed it, and came up with the following builds. Before we go any further though, be warned that not every playable character will have the exact skill specializations that you want, and because of that, I recommend maxing out the 4 basic skills first and then peek at their specializations to see what build they are best suited for. With that caveat out of the way, let's jump right into the melee fighter build. The melee fighter is a person that obviously enjoys using melee weapons, lasting as long as possible, and only relying on ranged weapons to take out special sets before they cause mayhem. In terms of the fighting skill, feel free to pick the specialization of your choice, whether that's close combat, which is considered like an unarmed method of fighting that has way more stamina, striking, which is concentrating on crowd control and knocking down enemies, and swordplay for high single target DPS. The best build of a melee fighter will have both powerhouse and discipline as their wits and cardio specializations. That may not always happen, but it's preferred to have at least one of the two if possible. As you can see, powerhouse gives you cheaper grapples and finishers and makes melee combat cheaper in terms of stamina expenditure. Discipline will give you on a melee kill stamina back, as well as make the equipped melee weapon that you have last longer. And for the last, which is shooting specialization, I recommend weapon handling, so that in the rare cases that you need to use a gun, it doesn't end up being jammed. Now we'll look at the recommended leader choice, 5th skill, and items a melee fighter should bring. The leader option of Sheriff should be selected because it provides a leader facility building of the field hospital, which heals both health and cures the plague disease. Because you're a melee fighter, you'll typically be taking more damage in general rather than a ranged character, and because of that, you'll be taking more health damage and you'll be taking more disease damage. So, the 5th skill I recommend taking is Craftsmanship. When it is upgraded and specialized to metalwork, you will be able to create what is called masterwork weapons at the forge building, and that will cause your weapons to do more damage. And lastly, as a melee fighter, I'd recommend bringing health and stamina consumables, specifically stamina consumables, because if you run out of stamina during combat, you will be doing less damage, not be able to dodge, and just take more damage. Now we'll look at what is called the Guns Blazing build. This is a person that deals their damage through ranged weaponry, but is not afraid to make noise. And instead of equipping silencer mods to their guns, will attach brakes and shotgun chokes. For the shooting specialization, you have the choice of either Gunslinger or Assault that I recommend. I would select Gunslinger if specifically you're using pistols, as it will allow you to snap to zombies' heads at the cost of using stamina. If you select Assault, that will give you a kick ability, as well as it'll allow you to have better recoil. The fighting specialization I recommend selecting is Endurance, as it will give you more health. The wits and cardio specializations are Resourcefulness and Backpacking, because they allow you to carry more ammo. Now let's talk about the leader option, 5th skill, and items. The leader option, which is very important, but more for a convenience reason, is to pick the Warlord, because the Warlord special facility building option is the Armory, which allows you to craft any ammo of your choice. If you don't select the Warlord, you will need to make sure you have a specific bullet making mod for your workspace, which might be a bit inconvenient when you're using many different types of guns. The fifth skill I recommend selecting or having one of your community members have is chemistry. Chemistry, when upgraded and specialized to munitions, that will allow you to create more ammo and more explosives. And lastly, the items that I'd recommend a guns blazing build to bring is obviously a lot of ammo and a lot of explosives. The third build we're looking at today is called the Sneaky Shooter, which is probably going to be a favorite for many people. This is a person that will be spending a lot of time crouching, being stealthy, and attracting as little attention as possible, taking out as many threats from as far away as possible as well. The shooting specialization that you'll pick is sharpshooting, because it gives you less sway so that when you're aiming it doesn't move around as much, and as well it gives you dismemberment, meaning that if you do get overwhelmed by many Zeds, you can shoot out their legs and then they'll just be crawling towards you instead. The fighting specialization I recommend is swordplay, because unlike blunt weapons, swords are typically quieter weapons. Quieter weapons means that less zombies are attracted to you. The wits specialization we're going to look at is stealth, and for obvious reasons. Also, it gives you the ability to sprint while crouching, which is very important. And lastly, the cardio specialization for Sneaky Shooter should be Marathon, as it will give you more stamina to sprint while crouching. The leader option is the same for the Sneaky Shooter, which is Warlord, for the exact same reason. Same thing with chemistry. In terms of items, the only thing that is different other than carrying lots of ammo is that possibly you carry some decoys instead of explosives. Explosives makes noise, which is a good thing, but decoys will last longer and distract the zombies, either to pick them off from a distance or to make a clean getaway. The last build we're going to look at today is called the Team Player Build. The Team Player Build is designed for when you want to just concentrate on scavenging, or if you play with other people. One of the things, at least at this time with State of Decay 2, is that in multiplayer, difficulty does not scale up with more players, meaning it doesn't get more difficult with more players, which is in a way a good thing and a bad thing. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about being able to scavenge as much as possible. To do so, your fighting ability will be endurance, for the ability to have more health, and if you're playing with other people, you can possibly quote-unquote tank, be in front, distract the zombies while maybe your friends shoot or get the finisher kills. The wits and cardio skills will be similar to the shooters in that you're going to pick both resourcefulness and backpacking, but instead of carrying ammo, you're going to carry more consumables, healing, stamina consumables, decoys, repair kits, gas. Sometimes your friends don't think or forget things, and you need to have those things ready so that you guys don't have to constantly go back to outpost or base. And lastly, the shooting specialization you'll select is weapon handling, because you'll be able to clear gun jams in the field for both yourself and for other players. Once again, this reduces the amount of time that you and your teammates have to spend going back and forth between base. Okay, and now we'll look at the leader option, fifth skills, and items. So a team player, if you're hosting, would be good to have a trader leader, because a trader has a special facility building of the trading outpost. It gives you more influence every day, but at the same time, you can use your radio to call traders to come to your camp. And how that is beneficial is that players can offload all their luxury items or their extra stuff, and these traders typically carry more money. The fifth skill I recommend to make your team player better is computers. Computers, when upgraded and specialized to electronics, not to be confused with electrical, will give you the ability to create a special facility mod called the solar panels. So instead of having a loud gas generator in your base or having to get an outpost that generates power and then requiring fuel, you can instead create solar panel mods and give it to your friends, which they can install in their bases, which will give them free electricity. Lastly, as we kind of touched upon before, the items that a team player will build or bring with them, and that is basically anything that your friends don't think of or anything that they don't have the room to bring. The team player can also pick up things if the other players get full. They can pick it up and hold on to it while or until they get back to base. And that's the 4 ultimate character builds for State of Decay 2. I hope they help you make the game more straightforward and enjoyable. Leave a comment on what you enjoy using and what you think might be better. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this and want to see more data analysis of the game. Thank you for joining me today at Night Knowledge. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.